uncut and uncensored. And I do apologize if I stumble over any words. One of the most important aspects when it comes to airing a final season for any series, animated or live action, is making sure that the episodes are in the right numeric order, especially from a continuity standpoint. The reason I bring this up is because of the fact that this past weekend, Growing Up is Hard to Do, which was the final CMC episode of the series, finally aired officially here in the US on Discovery Family. However, to a majority of the fans, it felt like this episode was out of place, that it was more filler than a finale. Yes, it was great to finally see the CMCs as adults, but a lot of folks have agreed, whether they liked the episode or they didn't, a lot of folks have agreed that the numeric episodic positioning of this episode is wrong, and that the episode involving the CMCs, focusing on the CMCs that should have been placed here is Last Crusade, because it had more of a finale feeling to it than Growing Up is Hard to Do. Now, some may argue and say that perhaps from a behind-the-scenes standpoint that the production was delayed, like maybe the voice actresses had other commitments elsewhere so they couldn't come in when they needed to record the lines, or perhaps there was a delay in the art, in the animation. We don't know, but some would bring that up as being a reason as to why Growing Up is Hard to Do was aired at this time and place in the final season. And they got a right to their opinion if they want to, use that as an excuse. But overall, the feeling is that the episodic placement of both episodes was out of order. That from a continuity standpoint, Growing Up is Hard to Do should have been the episode that aired before the mid-season 9 finale between Dark and Dawn. Well, Last Crusade should have been the episode that aired after Daring Doubt and before the Big Mac question. The reason being is because a lot of people feel that Last Crusade has more of a finale feeling to it, and the episodes we've been getting and will be getting in these next few weeks have been finale episodes to story arcs and character arcs. So Last Crusade would have fit very appropriately in place of those episodes, or along with those episodes. However, that didn't happen. Instead, Growing Up is Hard to Do ended up airing instead. Now, some may say that this did serve as a good finale because it gave us a glimpse as to what the CMCs may look like in the future by putting them through this situation. And that is true, especially if you know what's in store for the next few weeks, or in the next few weeks. However, I do have to agree with a lot of fans. I do have to agree with them that yes, even though it was nice to see the CMCs finally grown up as adults, even though temporarily thanks to a magical wishing flower, I do agree that the placement of the episode is wrong and it is out of order. That instead, this should have been before Between Dark and Dawn, and Last Crusade should have been the one that aired this week. It makes more sense from a continuity standpoint. Because when you think about it, if you would have aired, or if they would have aired Last Crusade this week as the true finale, it would have made sense from a continuity standpoint. Because basically, you have the Cutie Crusaders going through all these obstacles, ups and downs and trials and all that, from becoming friends to going on missions and quests and whatever to find the place in the world and get the marks, and to them finally getting the marks. And then this here, them magically being transformed into grown-ups, being the last part of, or the last piece of that puzzle, or the last chapter needed to write the story, would have made sense from a continuity standpoint. It really would have. So I do agree with that. I do agree with that aspect. I'm not saying it's wrong. However, again, others might bring up production issues behind the scenes as being a reason. Voice actresses having other commitments. Animation may be delayed. and so on, which would make sense as to why Last Crusade got aired at the time it did. However, despite how you feel about it, you have to agree that from a continuity standpoint and an episodic numeric standpoint, if you just swap them around, it makes more sense. And I would not put it past Hasbro, DHX, or even Shout Factory when they released the season on DVD and the complete series on DVD and perhaps Blu-ray to probably fix that and say, yeah, this makes more sense to be here and this makes more sense to be here. So, again, we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure Netflix, once they finally put season 9 on, they'll probably fix it themselves. Or fans will just fix it themselves by saying, you know what? I'm not going to watch Last Crusade before Between Dark and Dawn. I'm going to watch Growing Up Is Hard to Do because that makes more sense from a continuity standpoint. So, anyway, though, that's basically overall one of the pet peeves that a majority of the fans have. Some fans are okay with it, some fans are not, but a majority do agree that whether they loved it or they didn't, numerically, episodically, it should have been, numerically, episodically, it should have been placed in different order, or in the appropriate order that it should have been in. So that's all I'm going to really say, guys, about it. Let me know what you think down below. Do you agree with what I've had to say? Do you feel the episode should have been, that the swap of the episodes should have happened? What are your thoughts overall? Let me know down below, and I will talk to y'all later.